Jai Baba, Chapter 11. If you are wondering as to why the King of Kings, the Lord of the Universe, Sai Baba of Shirdi, would beg for food every day, there is a detailed explanation in the holy Sri Sai Satcharitra. The explanation given is simple and precise. Let me try and explain the reason given in the holy Sri Sai Satcharitra as to why Baba would beg for food daily in my words. Baba would ask for food only from a few households. Very rarely would he ask for food from other householders. The reason being, Baba had a past life connect with those 5 households from where he begged for food every day, and there must have been some karmic reason for him to do so. These 5 householders must have been very close to Baba for Baba to allow them such a divine privilege to serve him. By them offering food to Baba, they were being blessed and their karmic baggage was being lightened. According to me, they were not only serving Baba, but also being made to perform a noble task of feeding the poor through Baba. Baba always insisted that one should never eat alone. One should always share one's food with the poor. It was everybody's duty to feed those who were less privileged. Baba would always offer a little of the food collected to Dunimai, the sacred fire. In Grihasthashram, which translates as the state of a householder, it is considered to be a mandatory duty to first offer food which is cooked at home to the sacred fire. This is done in the name of those who have left the worldly life to follow the path of God, penance and abstinence. Those people who have left the worldly life are called sannyasis and brahmacharis. They are not supposed to cook their own food. They are supposed to beg for their sustenance. Only focus on their spiritual growth and not get involved in worldly activities. If one didn't give them food, they would be forced to work and thereby get involved in the day-to-day life of survival. By offering food to one who has renounced the world in the form of Sai Baba, those 5 householders were indirectly performing their duty of feeding sannyasis and brahmacharis all over the world, as isn't our Sai the king of all sannyasis and brahmacharis? Baba was a perfect celibate and also regarded the entire world as his home and as his own. In reality, only such a person has a right to beg for food. This practice of begging for food has now become corrupted. Only those who are truly on the spiritual path have the right to beg for food. Their entire focus is so deep in Goddess, God, Guru that they have no inclination to work for a living or spend time in cooking. All they want to do is to be absorbed in the one, and thus begging for food is justified. The other category of people who had the right to beg for food are those who had overcome the desire for a child or future progeny, those who had overcome the want for money and the need for fame or honor in the world. Only the person who is free from the desire of progeny, money and fame has a right to live by begging for food for survival. To feed such an individual is considered to be of great merit and a great privilege too. Baba was beyond all such desires, thus by giving food to Baba, these families were in reality doing themselves a huge favor spiritually and karmically. In ancient texts, it is said that every time food is cooked at home, 5 different kinds of sins are committed unknowingly. These 5 sins are called Panch Suna. The first of the 5 sins is called Kandani. When grain is put into the stone mortar to separate the chaff and the bran, living creatures are unknowingly killed in the process. One might say that one is not personally involved in this process anymore. True, but we eat that food which has gone through this process. We may not be pounding the grain ourselves, but we are the reason of the grain being pounded and then we cook it and consume it. This is the first sin called Kandani. When we light a fire to burn wood, to cook food, once again there are living beings killed in the process. This sin is called Chuli. When the grain is grounded into flour, once again we unknowingly kill creatures, and this sin is called Peshani. When we remove water from the lake, a pond or a well, and we wash clothes, innumerable creatures are killed unknowingly. Even when we clean our vessels, there are so many living organisms which are killed. This sin is called Udhumbi. When we have a bath or sweep our floor, once again innumerable creatures are killed, and this sin is called Marjani. It is said that if we were to indulge in a few activities, if not all, we would go beyond our daily sins committed knowingly or unknowingly. The most pious activity is to be in constant prayer. Second would be to offer food to those who are on the path or are studying spiritual scriptures. Third would be to remember one's ancestors and prepare food for the ancestors and then distribute the food to the poor. Offering food to one's goddess, god, guru. Prepare food and feed animals, birds, ants and fish. Feed the poor and uninvited guests. It is said that if one indulges in these activities daily, one's spiritual progress is sure to take place. Also, to free ourselves of these 5 daily sins, if we were to feed those on the path of God, who are living a life of abstinence, one would be rid of these sins. One might ask that in today's time, where does one get such a person who is truly on the path? I agree. Thus, selflessly feed those who are truly in need. If we were to selflessly feed the poor, or an animal or a bird or a fish, or even an ant on a daily basis, I feel that Baba would receive our offering, be pleased with our offering, and accept our offering, and we would also be rid of the 5 daily sins that we have just discussed above. I truly believe that whatever is offered to Baba with true love and devotion is received by Baba and lovingly accepted by Baba. When we feed the poor or an animal with selfless love and devotion, our Baba receives the same with love and happiness. Peace be to all. Baba bless us all that we may never be in want of our needs and never be overwhelmed by our wants. Jai Sai.